Well, evening folks, this is Dark Sky Photography. Welcome to my vlog. I'm Geraint and I'm at this iconic lighthouse in North Wales, which is of course South Stack Lighthouse. It's a beautiful evening. It's very promising for tonight's skies. Hopefully any clouds will drift away. We might start seeing some stars before too long. And so here we are for an astro shoot in a beautiful, breathtaking area of outstanding natural beauty. And I mean, you know, up on the hill here above South Stack Lighthouse, you can see Snowdonia to the east, the Llyn Peninsula to the southwest. You can see Ireland to the west, where the sun has set about 30 minutes ago. And if you look directly behind me, where the lighthouse currently is, if you follow that path of water, it will lead you all the way to Brazil, thousands of miles away, a continent far, far away. But that's why I'm here, because in that direction there's no light pollution, and so it'll make for a good night of astrophotography if the weather is kind to me. And so yeah, let's cross fingers and do some good shots tonight. Yeah. Here's the intro. So hi folks, my first composition is going to be a time lapse, and I've got a Sony camera to try out. It's been already doing the day to night time lapse sequence. The difference with the Sony is I can do this in aperture priority mode, and I can set an auto ISO, which is between 100 and 12,800, because I know the Sony will handle the higher ISOs, but they'll only kick in once the shutter speed hits 8 seconds. And so that's right, I've set the shutter speed to go as high as 8 seconds before the ISO starts to ramp up. And I can do this in camera, and I'll show you the setting which I've adjusted on the vlog now. And in this manner I can leave the Sony to do its own thing, and I can walk off and do something else. I couldn't do that with a Canon. With a Canon you have to go full manual, and you have to adjust the settings yourselves like ISO and exposure time. The Sony gives you that freedom to do something different, and so I can leave it alone. And so currently the Sony is in portrait orientation with a 24mm lens, because I want a lot of sky tonight. I'll get the lighthouse in the foreground in the lower left. The Milky Way, I know, is going to come in from the left hand side, and between the lighthouse and the Milky Way I'm hoping to catch that comet. Yeah, that comet, Shinzan. It's still around, you know, so it'd be nice to capture that in the night sky one last time before it leaves our solar system. And so the Milky Way, even though the core has disappeared beneath the horizon now, there's still a lot of detail in its dark rift and dusty lanes, and that'd be cool to bring out. Maybe even a little nebula I can tease out in post-processing later. So I think it'll be a good composition to have the lighthouse, the Milky Way and the comet. And so that's my first composition with this time lapse using the Sony in aperture priority mode. And if you're wondering about metering, I'm using multi-metering on the Sony. So the Sony averages out the brightness across the entire scene and then applies hopefully a correct exposure for each sequence of its time lapse. And so multi-metering mode, aperture priority, minimum shutter speed to a maximum of 8 seconds, and using auto ISO from 100 to 12,800. And of course you need to manually focus on the most distant object you can see, which for me was the horizon, so I can try and get the stars quite sharp while still maintaining some detail and sharpness in the foreground, because it's still quite far away, that lighthouse, from where this camera is positioned. And so I'm going to go off and find another composition with my Canon, because it's doing nothing at the moment, and I shall leave the Sony to do its thing. And if it does it well, if it does the time lapse nice, I might as well show you that now. Cool. So yeah, hi folks, I think I found my second composition. Behind me is the South Stack Lighthouse lookout post. You may recognize it from my intro vlogs if you've seen my videos before. And I think that's going to be a good bit of foreground interest to set off a star trail composition shot. And so yeah, I'll aim my Canon 6D at the hut and get nice star trails around and above it. North is behind it, and so hopefully they'll be quite circular. And so yeah, I'll probably use something like ISO 800 and exposure time about 30 seconds, aperture quite wide, maybe f4, so try and get some sharpness in the foreground detail because we're a bit closer than the lighthouse, this object. And we'll run it for a couple of hours and see what star trails we can get with this shot. And yeah, if it comes out good, I'll show you that one now too. Well, I think I found another composition, and this is from up top. We're right above the South Stack Lighthouse now, on level with a lookout, and it'd be nice to include the lighthouse, the lookout, all as part of one foreground, and we'll get some night sky. On photo pills, the Milky Way is enticingly above the roof of the lookout behind me, and I'll pop the Milky Way photo pills augmented reality video for you on screen now, so you can see what I mean. And I think it's going to make for a real cool shot. And so yeah, I think I'll do like a landscape photorama. I need to work on the foreground with a lighthouse because those beams are going to be quite hard to capture. I'll have to use a shorter exposure speed to narrow the beams down so they don't broaden and completely blow out the lighthouse itself. But I'll blend in two exposures there, I think, one for the lighthouse beams and one for the lighthouse island and for the foreground detail here. And then we'll do some probably tracked night shots. No, I didn't bring my star tracker, so we'll do stacked night shots instead. So I'll do at least 6 and I'll stack them up to reduce the noise, and let's see if I can make that nice, and maybe there'll be that comet there too. So yeah, we have a third composition, so I think I'll get to work on that now. So hi guys, after the burst earlier due to the clouds, I've managed to get some decent shots with the Sony, good foreground and nice night sky as well I reckon, even a selfie thrown in for good measure. And now I'm going to switch to the Canon 6D and have another go at the night sky using the Astro modded version of this camera and see if I can bring out some nebula now that the sky is much clearer. So I set up my Canon 6D Astro modded camera. I've attached a 24mm lens to it, and my plan is to do a sweet panorama of the night sky, and I'll do 3 rows. I'll do 3 panels, so there'll be one to the left of the lighthouse, one in the middle and one to the right, and then I'll go up a bit into the sky and we'll do another row, and so I'll create a night sky panorama. And what I've also done is attach a filter to the front of a camera lens. It's a light reduction or a light pollution filter, and so it should improve the clarity of what I see in the Milky Way, hopefully, by toning down light pollution sources like from the city of Dublin and from the town behind me. And so just give the lens a lucky wipe, because I got some salt on it earlier, being this close to the sea, and I will aim it at the night sky, and we'll have 3 rows with a vertical panel times 3, so 3 rows, 3 columns, and so we'll have about a 9 image composite, but for each one I'll probably take 4 images and I'll stack them to reduce noise in post afterwards. And the setting I'm going to use is going to be about ISO 800 to 1600. We'll expose for 20 seconds. Got to be aware of the 500 rule to avoid star elongation and blurring, and an aperture of about f2.8 to let lots of light into the camera sensor to pick out the finer details of the Milky Way and that little nebula region which I'm after. So let's see how we get on. Well guys, I came out this evening and I wasn't too sure what shots I was going to get. The clouds were always threatening, but as it turned out, the night came good. The clouds cleared and I think I got some good shots, and so I'm going to wrap this vlog up now, and I'll show you what I got tonight. And if you enjoy what I've done today with this vlog, and if you like my Astro shots I got, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you want, and I'll keep on making these videos and put them out there for you to enjoy. But if you go out yourselves, you stay safe, and I wish you clear skies, and yeah, maybe we'll meet one day. But yeah, let's wrap this up, and till the next vid, here's the shots I got this evening. Take care guys.